This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV Profit.
The Corporate Affairs Ministry has directed all listed companies to ensure that there is at least 30% representation of women on their boards. And the company bill, as we said at the start of the session, is expected to be approved by Rajya Sabha any time, which does stipulate that there should be at least one board member who is a woman. Now, that's the reason why we've pinned down on this simple yet powerful topic, how ready is India's realty sector for gender diversity? And along with my other panelists, you've already heard, we are also joined by Gagan Singh, CEO Business and Chairperson, Sri Lanka Operations at Jones Lang LaSalle. Okay, Gagan, now everybody in the panel, of course, Samarji differed a little bit, said that, look, it's not an industry which is tough to work in. It's if you have the knowledge, if you can navigate, like every other industry requires a lot of complexities, you should be able to do well within this sector as well. Would you agree?
I agree totally. I agree absolutely. The challenge here is more the awareness that real estate does offer, an opportunity for women. When a young graduate is sitting and discussing her career options with her parents across the dining table, real estate will never figure, because even the parents are not aware. And I think our biggest task on hand is to spread awareness that real estate does offer fantastic opportunities for women. And there are opportunities across the spectrum of services, whether it's a developer in this construction, or whether it is broking, or whether it is strategic consulting, or facilities management, managing accounts. Women come out on top brilliantly because of what they bring to the table.
Okay,
and
so outline according to you, because you've been in several of these functions as well, what do they bring to the table?
Well, it is complementary skills. Our clients tell us that when we have a team of men and women sitting across the table to negotiate, it goes much better. We come out winning because of the balanced approach, the sincerity that the female brings to the table. I don't know what it is, but I think men or teams tend to believe a passionate woman talking across the table and saying something with conviction much more than a whole bunch of men would. It's just
absolutely. And I would say, why not credibility? Women are just perceived to be more honest as human beings, and then probably a real estate sector needs that desperately. I'm not going to pull down anybody, but I mean, if you look at the 5,000 developers, how many of them are organized? 100 names that you will trust implicitly. Rest of them, I mean, if they could actually bring a woman on several fronts, there would probably be an extension of trust and better negotiation with more understanding, Samarji?
So, you'll find that essentially with women there is more of an implicit relationship orientation. It's not just a transaction orientation where I'll have one conversation or one negotiation and that will be that. And because they come to it with a relationship orientation, therefore a person feels more calmed by dealing with a lady because you respect the fact that she brings a long-term orientation. And that can make a big difference. However, like I said, you'll find that it is only of late that even in the developer community, women are being promoted to senior levels in sales and marketing positions, which never happened before. Because it was previously, something like corporate communications or public relations would be given to the ladies to look after, and a hardcore job, like a sales and marketing job. But today, even in the north, even in the much maligned north, I can give you names of 4 or 5 of the biggest developers, marquee names, who have ladies leading the sales and marketing charge. So things are changing pretty dramatically, and it is surprising that they have been more successful than their male counterparts. I mean, male counterparts often switch jobs, they don't actually stay through an whole assignment to do justice to it. So there's a whole bunch of issues woven in, and you'll find that the package deal ends up being very attractive, whether it's on the development side, on the transaction side, or even as an independent sort of specialist in any particular area in real estate.
A point to note here is that he's saying women stay longer and men don't, but very often women are not employed because you think they're going to leave soon when they have children. So here is where the contradiction is, that impression that women will leave soon, but here you have a voice of experience say that women tend to stay through the transaction. So there you are.
Work environment is conducive. I think women are inherently more faithful. They'd have less of that urge to find the next big job with that, and not willing to jump for every 20% hike that they would likely get, or a fancier designation. Kriti, you've got a head of marketing. right? And we're talking about, let's say, from the middle to senior level positions, where right now Mahindra is probably trying to fill that gap, saying we've got a lot of diversity, gender diversity at the junior level. There, of course, business is headed by women themselves. But what do you do? I mean, is it really compelling home and I don't know. I mean, have you ever tried to look at it? Let's just take your marketing director, Kajal. What would her compulsions be? What could probably be the reason for her to not continue with you?
Let me first put it out there that at least 30% of my heads of departments are women, and I'm happy to say that that's been the status for more than 8 years at least. Whether it be my head of HR, who's a lady, or it be my media team, or going all the way to planning and legal for that matter, are all headed by women. I don't think any of these women, when they joined, in fact, this is a very important point, at least out of the freshers that you would recruit out of university, only 20% of the girls that you recruit would actually go ahead and negotiate their own salary. Not because of any other reason, but the fact that they would look at relationship and they might not be as ambitious when they start off. Whereas more than 50% of the boys who would come in would negotiate their salaries from day one. I think that itself shows a huge attitude change at the starting point. I think the mid-level in Pune and Mumbai, I don't think I have seen the issue of leadership come in. I have women working at the lowest ranks from site to office, doing all kinds of heavyweight to very creative jobs. And no woman should think that just because they have to take care of home or they think they cannot do a balanced job with it, leave their work. I think being ambitious is not a crime, and none of these ladies who have worked with me or are working with me would leave for this reason.
Really? Kruti, I think Kruti, you've got really lucky. You've got really lucky that women haven't left because of home compulsions. Though that, I think, probably, even as surveys point out, is perhaps the single largest reason or biggest reason when people do, which essentially says that there's a lot of credit which goes to your company, which is being able to retain women at that very, very crucial age group of 28 to 38, where the family is expanding. But we've got another guest joining us now, who, of course, with the downpour, and the downpour may have happened just for about 20 minutes or an hour, but the traffic, of course, snags happened for 3 hours. And now that we're discussing real estate, we're not going to divert to that topic, but Vineet Relia, CEO of SARE Homes, is with us through the traffic and 2.5 hours journey from Gurgaon. Thank you for making it and having the patience to make it as well.
I think you guys should shift to Gurgaon now.
I think so. So Vineet, I mean, hearing the perspectives that everybody has brought in, they said, look, it's not a more challenging environment to work within real estate for women, but women don't even consider it as one of their primary options for a career. Would you agree with that, or do you think that's changing?
No, I think quite a lot is changing, specifically even on the construction side, where there's a lot of automation happening, and there's a lot of, you're doing things like virtual construction and things on site. So I think a lot of it is changing. And yes, across the board, real estate, if I look at even our organization, we have some of the best sellers in Chennai. Mm-hmm. They're all ladies. They do the best of the deals.
So are they very good? So if you were to look at your organization and tell me, where are women being most successful? Are they the best salespeople?
I think 3 areas they are being definitely, I mean, one point is obviously there that out of the teams, wherever there is gender diversity in the teams, those teams are outperforming.
Even that if they don't. That is what Gagan also said. Yeah. Wherever there's gender diversity, a good mix, the team is always able to outperform.
But if you talk about specific areas, I think we have ladies heading CRM. That's predominantly dominated by the ladies. I think they give that kind of comfort, as well as they are very good negotiators. There's this negotiating art which is much more
very good negotiators.
Right. And also the sales bit, but that's more dominant in the southern states. North in markets, they're not very dominant. And then you got this thing about the interior and finishing on quality. There is a bit of a feminine touch which is missing on the sites when they're crudely, and I would say the men are more careless about it. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the ladies are definitely adding a lot of value on that.
Detail.
Exactly, the eye for detail.
Creativity, sales,
Right.
empathy, negotiation. I mean, look at it. Samaji, do you have 30 or 40% women in your organization or
So we
not?
have about 25 to 30%,
Not bad.
and then a lot of them.
yes.
So we have a lot of ladies in the company. But I just wanted to pick up on a point, Vinisha, that you made earlier, which I fear might be enhancing a stereotype. So I just wanted to come back to that about having home compulsions and not being able to juggle. My assessment is that today the ladies are getting really well rewarded at work, at par if not better than men. Given that, for a family, a woman...
I can see Gagan wincing at that, and I'm going to take you up on that as well.
So you'll find that families overall, which includes grandparents, in-laws, are supporting the nuclear family in keeping sure that the lady can keep the job and do well. So we are not finding the issue that you raised to come up at all, because the family behind them, the generation before, is making sure that there's enough support system.
Okay,
so it's a big plus.
I'm not really sure whether that's representative of what's happening across the country. Now, gender diversity is a challenge across corporate India, not specific to real estate, as we've just established. Look at this report, Spencer Stuart India Board Index 2012. They say women accounted for 7% of all directors on BSE 100 companies in 2012, up from 5.5% in 2011. Thank God it inched up 1.5%. In the US, and that we're talking about a developed country ahead, #1, women accounted for 17% of all independent directors in 2012. So their ratio is definitely higher, but not something to applaud as well. According to the respondents surveyed, the biggest barrier for gender diversity within senior management is the double burden that women carry of looking after home and work, 40%, followed by the anytime, anywhere working model which expects senior managers to work round the clock, 29%. So, this whole pressure that, or some of the men bosses or even women bosses, why am I discriminating here, expect junior women to work round the clock, be available all the time.